Okay, welcome to today's video. We're going to be looking at adding and subtracting variables. Now when you were younger, way back in kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2, you first started learning about these things called numbers, and you learned how to add and subtract them, you learned how to multiply and divide them, eventually learned how to take square roots and squares. Now we just learned about these new things called variables, letters in math, and now we kind of have to go back and do what we did with the numbers at the beginning with variables. So we need to learn how to do operations on different variables. Today we're going to look at adding and subtracting them. But before we do, I want us to remember kind of how we started learning about multiplication and addition. Remember that when we started learning about multiplication, we talked about groups, and we linked it to addition. For example, 3 plus 3, is 6. But we can link it to multiplication as this is two groups of 3. So this is the same as 2 times 3. And again, I'm not going to use the symbol times a lot in this unit since we won't want to get confused with the variable x. So we write them side by side in brackets. This means 2 times 3. So 3 plus 3 means it's the same as 2 times 3. We can do the same with this one here. 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. This is 5 groups of 4, so it's the same as 5 times 4. Yeah. So we can see the link between addition and multiplication, and we're going to use that in a minute. Right. So keeping what we just saw in mind, we now want to figure out how we can add letters, how we can add variables. So 2 examples up here, started with some simple ones. We have x plus x and x plus y. How do we add these together? Can we even add them together? Well, let's look at the first one. X plus x. We're trying to add letters. Does that even make sense? But remember that variables really are numbers that we don't know yet. So x plus x really could mean 2 plus 2, or 4 plus 4, or 3 plus 3, just like we saw above. And remember we said 3 plus 3, we could really make it 2 times that, because there's 2 3's. Well, if x really is a number we don't know yet, we can do the exact same thing. So x plus x really is 2 x's. Okay. Exact same as above, just with an x now. So x plus x is 2x. Now look at the next one. We have x plus y. Can we add those things? Well, remember, x and y aren't the same number. So we can't do what we did above, because they're not the same thing. It could be 2 and 3 or 4 and 6. So we have no way of simplifying those together since they're 2 complete different numbers. So we can't actually add an x and a y together because they're 2 different things that we don't know. So that comes to our first rule of adding and subtracting variables, which is they must be the exact same letter. They must be the exact same letter. Here we could add the x and x together. X plus x, there's 2 x's because of the same letter. Here x and y we cannot add together. They must be the same letter to add them together. So here's some examples where they're the exact same letter. We have x squared plus x squared and x plus x cubed. Now we see exponents in our terms. Right? The degree has changed to them. These both have the same degree. Here we have x degree 1, x to the exponent 1, and x degree 3, x cubed. Can we add these together? Well, let's look at the first one here, x squared plus x squared. Let's pick a number for x. Why not 2? Nice easy number. Two squared plus 2 squared, which really is 4 plus 4. So this is the same number. Because they have the same degree, whatever number you put in there, it will end up being the same. So it's exactly like we saw in the beginning. We can write it as 2 times 4, which is 2 working backwards times 2 squared. And we didn't know what it was 2. Remember, it's just x, so which is 2 times x squared. And we can add these together because they have the same degree up top. It's 2x squared. So look at this example, x plus x cubed. If we pick 2 again to put in it, it becomes 2 plus 2 cubed, which is 2, and 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. they're not the same number when you evaluate them. So we can't simplify them using our trick above. So that's our second rule. Not only do they have to have the same letter, they also have to have the same degree, the same exponent. Those are our two rules for adding and subtracting variables. They must have the same letter. Not only that, the same exponent on the letter. So here is our rule for adding and subtracting variables. They must be like terms. Remember, each part of an expression is a term separated by a plus or minus. Those must be the same, which means they must have the same letter and the exact same degree. If those two things are satisfied, we call them like terms. So let's look here. We have x cubed, 2x squared, 4x cubed, 2x, and 3x cubed. Which of these are like terms? Which of these could we add together? In order to be a like term, exact same letter, exact same exponent. All of them have the exact same letter, but which have the exact same exponent? Well, this has a x squared, there's no other x squared. This is just an x, there's no other x's. But we have an x cubed, a 4x cubed, and a 3x cubed. Those circled ones are all like terms because they're the exact same letter, to the exact same degree, the exact same exponent. So a rule for adding and subtracting variables is they must be like terms. Exact same variable to the exact same exponents. Here's two like terms. We have a 3x plus 2x. They're like terms because they are both an x, same letter, and both have an exponent 1 there. Remember, we don't write the 1, but it's really there. How do we add these together? What's our rule once we've determined that they're like terms and how we can add them? Well, let's go back to how we did it at the beginning. 3 x's, remember, can be written as x plus x plus x. Right? Because there's 3 of them. We can break our multiplication apart into addition. Same with the 2x plus x plus x. And now we can bring them back together into the multiplication. How many x's are there? Well, there's 5 groups of x. So it would be 5x. 5 groups of the same thing. We can just make this multiplication. So 5x. So do you see the simple way of doing it so we don't have to break it apart? That's right, you just add the coefficients. 3 x's plus 2 more x's makes 5 x's. So our rule is add the coefficients, the part in front of the letter. Once we've determined their like terms, we add the coefficients. Okay, hope you've had a chance to try these. Let's take them up. So remember, they have to be like terms in order to add and subtract them. So here, 3x cubed and 7x cubed. First, we check, are they like terms? Are they the same letter? Absolutely. Are they the exact same exponent? They are for sure. So that means we just keep that part the same, we add the coefficients. So 3 plus 7 is 10, which means there's 10 x cubes. So 3x cubed plus 7x cubed is 10x cubed. Let's try one that's subtraction. Are they like terms? Yeah, x and x both have degree 1. So 4x minus 9x. So we subtract the coefficients. 4 minus 9 is negative 5. So it's negative 5x's. Here, 5x squared, take away 5x squared. Are they like terms? Yes, they're both x squared. So 5 minus 5, 0x squared. Now, would we write it like that, 0x squared? No, because 0 times anything is 0, which is just nothing. There's nothing there. 5x squared, take away 5x squared, you're left with nothing. Finally, 9x squared plus 9x. This was one that was trying to trick you. We can't add them because they're not like terms. They both have an x, but this one's a squared, and that one has degree 1. So we're not allowed to add them because they're not like terms.